Chic West Podcast is heart-opening dialogues for self-identified women on a Chic West, a movement moving forward, striving to live aware, bold, and whole. Welcome. Hi, Chic West. Welcome to Chic West Podcast Guest Series. I'm your host, Estelle Thompson. This series of podcast shows is titled Beauty of Relationships, Help Yourself, Help Others. This month, we explore and dive deep in the beauty of relationships. And for me, that means going beyond our relationship with others and looking at the relationship we have with ourselves and our inner voices first. This month, I thought I would bring the podcast close to home. I have hoped to interview my dad, my brother, my husband, and today, my best friend. And my hope is this, that through our guests this month, we start seeing that the relationship that we have with others is a direct reflection of how we treat ourselves. Also, how building a relationship with your inner voice can empower the relationship you have with yourself and your life. So today, I'm so very thrilled to have my bestie, Sarah Fisher. And full disclaimer, I call her Fisher. And it's okay between us. It's okay, right? But Fisher is a farmer and a graphic designer. And she lives in Cow Bay. She's right my neighbor in Nova Scotia. And Fisher studied web and print design as well as fine art photography in the US and Canada. Throughout the years, she's taken on selected design projects with, pretty much me, other people too, but I'm pretty much one of her main clients. And 7 years ago, she started Off Beat Farm, which is like also a huge part of her life, like her baby with her husband, Jamie, and where, they grow vegetable and mushrooms and make fermented food to sell at the nearby farmer's market. And she loves combining the power of these two separate careers, her design and farming, but also enjoys the different skills and attribution they individually had to her life. Fisher joins me here. And by the way, it's like a Sunday night, a slow Sunday night for us. We're not in the same room and we're both in PJs. Hi!
Thanks for having me.
And I just want to say this to you, I know it's a big deal. Most of the people I have on the podcast, they're really used to, talking, whatever, but you're not. And I just want to honor that right from the start, the get-go. I kind of just bribed you. I was like, you're coming on the show.
It's so true. I go days where I don't really talk to people when I'm farming because the vegetables, I don't need to talk to them. I mean, they might appreciate it. But...
Wait, you don't talk to the vegetables?
Sometimes, but they're one-sided conversations.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And I feel it's been, anyways, we'll get on that later, but it's been a bit of our dynamic where I kind of just push you.
This is true.
And you've taught me great things too. So it goes both ways. Yeah. But the first question, Fisher, I always ask my guests, as you know, because you listen to all my podcasts, right?
Yeah.
What makes you feel alive today?
I felt like it's a really mundane answer. I had to do something today that I really didn't want to do, but I realized once I did it that I was totally fine and capable. But I had to take the car with our trailer on it today, and I never drive the car with the trailer. I don't know if you've ever done that, hauled something, but I don't like it, and I did it, and I was totally fine. I'm totally capable, and I was like, good job. When I got home, I did it.
I love that, and that made you feel alive.
Yes.
Oh my God, you're so much better than me. I don't want to digress too much, but today my car wouldn't start, legit, would not start. And instead of trying to figure it out, I just text Scott. And that did not make me feel alive, but
I was hoping Jamie would be like, "Do you want to go? I'll go with you." But he was not offering that, so I was like, "Okay, I guess it's me."
But I love you know what? I love that because it's like always it's like blown up in your head and then you do it and you're like, that wasn't such a big deal after all. And that totally made me feel great.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, so I call you Fisher, and it's funny because some people are like, we're not in the military, but you're cool with this, right?
Yeah, I'm totally yeah, like, I've had like, that's, like, I feel like the sign of the people that know me well, they often call me Fisher because that's, like yeah, there's usually so many Sarahs, and you have to yeah, so it's I feel like it's an endearing nickname.
Yeah, it is. And Isaiah, my son, he calls you Fishy now.
I love it.
So cute. So cute. So I wanted you on here, like for many reasons. As I said in the intro, like we're in my month. This month, that Grass is all about the beauty of relationships. And with you, I wanted to touch on like three things, I guess, just like our relationship as like best friends over the year, and then we kind of have that relationship, but we also have a working relationship where I just feel so proud of that we've been able to literally stay friends. Like we're still friends.
Yeah.
And like how it's evolved really from like, you're not just doing my posters now, like you literally assist like all my retreats and like you really become like you're like my right hand, Fisher. And more than that. So I do want to get into that and kind of like what's worked for us, I guess. But also because like you're a farmer and you have that whole background and you really have that in your bones. I want to talk about your relationship with nature and I want you to talk about that because that's what you bring in retreats when you come with me too, and that's what you teach the students. But also because I feel, and this is something we believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but that the more you're in nature, the more you're like close to your soul or just like your creativity as well. So there's a big part of that, and I'd love for you to just like talk about that more if you're okay. Well, I guess you have no choice now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, and then before you do that, could you just tell us a bit about yourself and your story and who you are, just professionally and personally, and like where you were born and all that good stuff?
Yeah. I was born in Iowa in the Midwest in farm country. Growing up, I didn't want anything to do with farming or agriculture or the country. We moved from a small town to, I would say we were like surrounded by farm fields when I was in high school. And I thought it was the worst because I listened to punk music and loved art. And like that was like, felt like the opposite of living in the country when I was younger. But I think in the end, that's where I learned the beauty of having nature and quiet around. After high school, I studied graphic design and learned to, like that's where I learned to make posters and code websites. And a few years later, I moved to Ottawa, Canada, to go to a photography school. And so I studied photography, learned how to use a medium format camera, and develop my own film. And it was in Ottawa that I met my husband, Jamie. And since he's a surfer, he really needed to live near the ocean. I know you can relate to this. And so I was totally up for living by the ocean. I had never been to Nova Scotia. I always heard really awesome things about it. So we moved to Nova Scotia, and it was when we lived in Dartmouth that we started to garden and really get into growing food and being really excited about growing our food and wanted to grow more and started going to farming workshops and kind of just digging deeper into farming. And we soon after bought our house in Calbay and like converted gardens like all over our property and then used some of our neighbors' property. And yeah, so we've been like learning to farm over the years, like kind of just like really just getting to it, getting our hands in the dirt. And so yeah, that's been kind of like the journey of like graphic design to farming. And but it's always like graphic design and art has always been there. And I kind of use it with the farm. I use it like separately, but yeah, like those things very much still like coexist, though like farming is like a major component of my day.
I must say I didn't know that you hated farming when you were growing up.
Well, like I always thought all the like boys at school wearing their Carhartts were such like hicks. And I had no time for that, like, they would have, like, a drive your tractor to school day, and I would, like, so not into it. I was, like,
Well, Lynn,
not into it. I was like, "That's not punk rock."
I love that. I love how I've been doing these podcasts now and like I learned so much about the people I like think I know. I love it. And can you I guess it'll be interesting like how did we meet Fisher?
Yeah. Well, I would it was when you did the cowboy yoga classes,
I love our
I
story by the way.
well, like when I first moved to Calvé, like I didn't know anyone. Like, and I remember I saw this painted sign on the pole in front of the hall about yoga, and I went, and the room was full of people, and I was like, holy, like there's so many people here. Like I was overwhelmed. I couldn't believe that people actually lived in all the houses around me. Uh, and you were the teacher, and then it was such an awesome way to like get to know the community, and then getting to know you. I don't even know like from there. The next thing I remember is just like hanging out with you and the boys at your house, and like helping you on Thursday nights when you need extra hands, and going on walks at the beach. Like that's like it goes from like yoga to that. So I don't know in between that, but
I know,
some
same, but, like, I know I tell this story all the time, but I guess we tell it on retreats because like, we're just stuck together. But, I met you, I remember, and, like, I don't know how you told me you were a graphic designer and that was literally, like, 7, 8 years ago, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then so it was right about the time, like, Isaiah was just born, and I was just at the point where I was like, "Okay, I can't do my website by myself, like, anymore." And so I think, like, I reached out to you, but, like, you didn't have a cell phone, and you like and the only way I could reach you was by calling you, like, on your landline, and I swear I feel we became so close because, like, every time I need to talk to you, like, I had to call you.
You're one of the few phone numbers I know. So like if I ever have an emergency, like you're the one I'm calling.
I Well, same here, and, like, I just couldn't believe, like, I couldn't text you, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, how am I supposed to, like, communicate with this person?" And you're just like, "Just call me," like but even, like, I mean, to think that was, like, 7, 8 years ago, and, like, I just gotten so used to that, and, like, I feel I got to know you so quick, like, because of that, you know? And, like, oh my god, yeah, I remember those days, like, on Thursday, Scott well, he still works late on Thursday, and, like, he would come and, like, give me a hand. I'm not sure how that worked. Maybe you were, like, conned into it or something. I'm not
Yeah, I don't know either. I was like, I don't know how that happened, but like, yeah, it was like a ritual. Like, you know what I bet it was? I bet you lured me with feeding me dinner because that would get me if I bet that's it. You probably
with
lured me with
food. I
food.
think that was it. Like, remember the good old days where, like, I would be like, "Okay, Fisher, let's go for this photo shoot, and let's go eat at Cheese Curd." And
True.
you were like, "Yeah, let's do it."
No, I don't get snacks anymore. Why is that?
Yeah, and, like, I mean, that's why, like, Isaiah knows you since, like, he was a baby, like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
um, yeah, gosh, you helped me so much, and, like, you're just, like, holding the babies, like I don't wanna digress, but, like, there's, really nights where Isaiah burnt himself on the stove, and, like, I had to call
Oh,
the hospital.
yes, that's right. That was intense. Oh,
Oh, that feels like a lifetime ago. That
it
feels like
really
a lifetime ago.
does. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, so yeah.
but
And then that's also, during the time I believe that you did your first ever 21 days of, or I'm assuming 20 days, maybe it's 30 days of taking yoga photos.
yes! Oh,
I feel like that was, like, a point too because before you didn't like, that was, like, a new thing to, like, take photos of yourself doing yoga
on
poses.
Instagram,
Yeah,
yes!
and so then, like, and then you would just call me and be like, "Okay, can you do this today where I have this spot?" And, like, we'd go to all these different spots in Cal Bay and do take photos in different yoga poses. So it was like
I
this, like, mini challenge, and yeah.
and you were always, like, so up for it and, like, so excited, like, I think that's something, like, from you, like, I always like, you really got me from, like, the beginning, and, like, there's not a lot of people that can do that, and I'm not sure if it's, like, the way your brain works or, like, even, like, photography, for example, where it's, like, we really click from the beginning, but I worked with photographers where they'll take a picture of me and, like, I can't see myself in the pictures, but, like, you take a picture of me and it's not even, like, the best quality or, like, the best it's not staged or anything, and it's somehow no, I, like, see
That's
myself? Yeah, that's, it's such a, like, a quality you have, and I think it's not just with me, like, I think it's, like, with a lot of, like, of your friend I think, like, it's, like, your thing for sure.
but
Yeah, I totally remember. So that's such a great like the Instagram thing and like taking pictures every day and like Jamie, your husband, being like, "So what are you winning? Like if you win," and I was like, I completely forgotten about like
you're like, it didn't matter what you won, you're just like, "This is awesome."
well, I was having so much fun with you. Like I was like, you know what? It doesn't even matter. Like and to think and I don't want to talk too much like shop talk, but like when people come to me, let's say with like, "Oh, how did you like start your business or whatever?" And like one of the things I often say it's like post every day. Like like no matter what cuz like even like if I look like back in the days like that little silly contest like really helped like shape my voice, and like just like figure out like what I was about like in my business and like my brand and stuff and anyways, that's something you're also really good at like make come out of me, I guess.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. But and I guess we can go into like I don't know, it's hard for us maybe to say like how we're able to be friends and work together. But I think part like what do you think like makes that we're such a good team? Like
Well oh, um But this is like I think in some ways that it's because we have different strengths, but that are really like compatible, not like different that feel like they're off in different directions. Cause like I guess in my mind, like you have the ideas and the big picture, and then I'm taking those ideas and like trying to make them like whether it's like an actual object or like putting them online so that people can access them just kind of like taking those things and making them a reality and then but I don't like all like the other details like what how does it work or what do we do I'm like I do think that things like emojis and animated gifs like really
so let it be known that you did have to get an iPhone at some point, but you still do not have an actual phone
no
on
I
your
have it
phone.
just so that I can send you emojis and animated
And I like basically like at some point I would like shove you my old like iPhone so like you could like read the new emojis.
right that's right so like that's been very crucial to our getting things done um
Yeah, and I'll say something too that I think is really work where like I love how you said like I kind of see the big picture and like I have to be the one in a way that like well with my business like kind of steer the ship,
mhm.
but like you're really good at like kind of like wait up, like slow things down, like you're kind of good at like just seeing all the pieces that like work to like okay, like the end goal of what like I'm hoping to create, and we often laugh like in Ayurveda, like, Vata and Pitta and Kapha. Like Vata is really like airy and like kind of not flaky, but like floats everywhere and Pitta is like full of fire and Kapha's like on the couch, like not all the time. It's totally like prejudice. Like there's like it's so complex, like the science, but so basically, like I'm super pitta and like I'm really good at like and that's I know that's my strength is that like I have an idea and like let's execute it like yesterday, like if I have a vision and like I've like this is it. And like you're like, okay, wait up. And I think and like your kafa on the couch. Not really.
But it is the kind like there's definitely times where you're like, we have this big project, let's get it done. And I'm like, can we have another 6 months to work on this? So I think that's even like the strengths of each of us where I'm like, let's slow it down, but you're like, okay, but like not too slow. Like we still have to like let's still like go with the momentum and the energy. And so I think there's some balance in that where we're like both of us have our preferred speeds and I think we're able to somehow work with that, like kind of come to like a uh, I don't know. Yeah, we're able to work with our fasts and slows.
Yeah, and like I remember like I've never it's funny because I don't think I've ever been like frustrated, but maybe and that like maybe I have been, but I think now I just like whenever you're like, no, like this is happening or like on Friday you have like your big harvest day or something, like I've just been able to be like, kind of divine timing where like, nope, things are gonna just work when they work and like it's all gonna work everything's gonna work out as it should, because I
Yeah.
basically at this point, like, I can't like, it's really like I'm not really like a one woman show, like, I have, like, you to help me, and I have, like, other, people as well, and it's like, no, I just have to, like, wait up and, like, basically chill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then on that side of things that I have to like then engage and be like, okay, when can you get this done? Can you get it done like while you're having your breakfast or on your lunch break? And just kind of like, finding the ways that I can work it in that I can like be more efficient or get it done sooner. So yeah, it's like the
yeah,
different side of the coin.
yeah. Oh, I just love you so much. But, let's talk about retreats for a while. How and I guess the first time it's so funny because I guess the first time, like, how when did I ask you? Like, a week before going that we were gonna go to Costa
Oh,
Rica?
yes. Oh my goodness. I think it was a week before you were like, "Do you wanna come with me?" And I was like, "No." I feel like I say no every time. Like, no, like farmers don't go on retreats and like I no, like I don't know how to make it happen. Like flights, I was just like so overwhelmed. And then you're like pep talking me through it all. And then I decided to go and yeah,
And you made it happen. And
made it happen. Yeah, it was like those things in your brain that you have all these excuses and all these reasons why, and then you're like, I don't even know what those were now. Like right now, I'm like, I don't really even know what I was so caught up on, but like I was like, no, I just don't think it'll work.
well, also, if you wouldn't have gone, I think Jamie would have gone in your
True. Yes.
Jamie was like, "If you don't go, I'm gonna go."
Yes, he always says that. And he means it.
Yeah, but that's another thing, like, I think we've been really good, like, communicators, like, both in our working relationship and our friend relationship. We're like, we do spend time to be like, the meaning behind what we say or, like, I feel like we were good at talking it out, which is actually an inside joke between us, like, I need to talk it out, like, this isn't enough. What you said isn't enough. Like, can we talk it out,
Oh, and then we just have to, like, kinda get in, yeah, to the details of it, like, "This is what I mean," or "This is what I can't get past," or
But I love that
yeah.
because it's almost like we're debunking our fears, which are really illusions. But, like, by talking it out, it makes us feel more safe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So then what happened the next year, Fisher?
So then the following year, you asked me to do some of the workshops on the Costa Rica retreat. And I was thinking about this and I was like, I think I was like probably thinking you were serious or like you were probably joking and like not really sure about that. And like, oh, she must not be serious that she actually wants me to teach something at her retreat. Like, you maybe just an idea she's just kind of like throwing around. But yeah, I
Let it be
joined
known
you
I was so serious.
on yes, you were. And so, yeah, I joined you on your second Costa Rica trip. And then I led some of the workshops and we did some like nature observation and journaling workshops. And it was really awesome. Like, I love that group has like such a special place in my heart. Like, they were such great people to do that with. And it was a really awesome experience, but definitely one that like I don't know if like you pushed me into it is the right words, but like definitely something I would have never gone out of my way to do. But like it was a really great experience for me to have this opportunity to kind of like share this part that I've like learned through farming of this like appreciation of nature and these little observations that they can teach us different things. So yeah, it was a really, really awesome experience.
But talk to us more about that. Like, how important is your relationship with nature, you think?
Uh, it's one of those things that it's, like, so part of my life right now that maybe sometimes I don't really realize just how connected I am with it, but it really does, like it has taught me a lot, like, it has taught me a lot with just, like, growing food. There's so much to know. There's so much to learn about, like, the just, like, the general like, the weather and the seasons, and also just like the calm and the peace that it brings me, like the field that we use at our neighbors, it's there's no wi-fi over there and often like not many people know where it is, so it's just like very quiet and peaceful. And often when I go over there it's just this like almost like this relief that I'm just like over there, I'm not being disturbed, and there's like trees all around and there's like the fields of crops. And it is I just find it like really nourishing and kind of resets me. And it's really I really value having like the quiet space to be in. And then like as I'm there and like, oh, I'm what is that bird, or what is this insect, and you kind of learn a bit more of the whole environment around you that could easily just go like unseen if you're just like driving by or not pausing. So I've really learned to value that, all those little details, and learning and making like a just kind of realizing that everything is connected. Like when I'm growing carrots to feed other people, there's, insects and birds and soil and dirt and all those things that go into making it. And they all affect each other. And it's really neat to kind of piece that all together.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Do you think if you didn't have a farm, you would have that much connection with it or
Uh, I think it would be different,
Mhm.
but I think I I like having the farm business aspect of it because it really pushes me to get out there and engage with it. So I think it would be different in that way because there's times where I don't feel like going outside. Like I was definitely whining to you this Friday about having to go outside and like harvest carrots and wash carrots, and it was cold and rainy. And but I knew that like when I was out there, it was still gonna feel good even though it was a miserable day. So it like definitely pushes me to get out there more often than if I didn't have to do those tasks.
Yeah. I love that, and that's kind of, all these things that I guess you've been talking about, you were teaching that at the retreat, and um, you were teaching us ways that we could engage with nature. And I guess for the purpose of the retreat, you were doing it through art and sketching and journaling. But I'm wondering, let's say like somebody, because I feel like that's such a big piece, like nature, like we're so disconnected like from it. If somebody like, I guess, like came up to you and they were like, I want to start like a relationship with like nature, like right now, like what would you tell them? Like, let's say, like, hands on way we can start building a relationship with nature, like today,
I think like the most like simplest thing is to like go for a walk. I mean, if you can't get outside and go for a walk, then maybe sitting at a window. And I think when you're going for a walk though, you can you're you're getting yourself literally outside, you're feeling the weather, you're hearing the sounds, and on that walk just like observing what is around you, like the smells, the sounds, the visuals, like all of those things. And then starting to see some of the details, like what shape is that tree? What shape are the leaves? What's growing underneath the tree? Uh, I think this time of the year is interesting too. In Nova Scotia, it's becoming fall, and like the trees have lost their leaves, and things are starting to become more brown. But then like not everything's brown, and so then like observing how the seasons are affecting uh, the environment around us. The sun sets at a different place now. I find like I was looking at the window tonight and like the sun, like it's setting at a different time for us, but it's also like I can see it
Yeah.
shifting as far as like where it is in my view. Um, so I think when you're just like starting to take a moment to observe those little details, they can seem really mundane, but the more you observe those details, the more you see how it all works together and how it has so much more to say.
Yes. I agree so much. And then, I mean, you've heard most of my stories, poor thing, but there's this there's this study that says, because you were saying like even just looking outside at nature, but like there was this study done like, people that had in hospitals that had a window that they could look out to like trees or something, they would like heal faster that people that were in a room that didn't have a window like that right there, that says so much, like.
Yeah. And something that I love about nature is that, at least for us in Nova Scotia, I mean, I think in most of Canada, but like it's accessible for us. Like you don't have to pay to go outside. You don't have to, buy certain things to do it. Like you just go outside, and it just feels like an accessible way to like decompress and to unwind and kind of just like I think yeah, it's like it is really calming. I don't know all the science behind why it's calming or why it's nourishing, but like it's there. I mean, sometimes nature is stressful. Like a windy day can be so stressful, but like uh there is something about it, but it's really accessible and I
But
love
you were
that.
there in Costa Rica where like that windy day, remember? And I was like, that was so auspicious. And I actually I've told that story on the podcast before, but like that's a common theme that comes back. It's like, your body is nature. Like your body is a tree, your body is like a flower. And like it's like when there is a storm, like we all go through storms, like we all go through like, yeah, wind gusts, or like I don't know, I think like I kind of love storms now, like not the destruction, but like there is part, like life is part like destruction and like creation. I think like nature really
Yeah.
embodies that, and like.
Hey there, interrupting this incredibly heart opening episode to let you know about my new art channel. If you're listening to this podcast as a She Quiz member, this feature is included in the membership sisterhood community. Yay! More than 21 days of mindful art classes and curated topics for each class, such as 21 days of birds and butterfly, 21 days of love and loss, 21 days of women in power, and so on. Classes and programs are being uploaded on a monthly basis. If you aren't part of the membership and would like to try the art channel, this option is now available. Use the coupon SHEART, that's SHEART, all big letters, to get 1 month free. And tell the women and men you know and love about this stunning opportunity to develop a home art practice. Chic West membership doors will open again in January, but until then, enjoy my art channel and say yes to creative living, yes to showing up, and yes to connection. Now back to our ever expanding conversation.
But do you remember that windy day? That was wild.
It was, and I loved it, and I thought about how it felt like a really interesting wind, but I also remember thinking, like, "This feels really awesome and magical, but I really would hate this if this was at home." So there was something about it that just felt so just, like, exciting and, interesting, but, like, something about the place or the kind of wind. Yeah, that was a really special, and, like, I think even the local like, the people around us were just kinda like, "Whoa, this is really kind of, like, interesting and special," so it felt
I know,
extra.
because it was like they were like, "This never happens," and I was like, "I made this happen." Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And I kinda like now that we talk about that, like, I kinda cherish that, like, we used to go I mean, we should go more walks, like, I feel like we used to go on so many walks,
So
like,
many
remember?
walks, so many walks in so many different kinds of weather, like, uh,
Oh my
so many winter walks, like, I remember a few times, like, taking the stroller over, like, snow mounds to get to the beach, like I was like, all right, yeah, like, yes, you can go for a walk in the winter at the beach, like, it's totally a thing.
It's totally a thing if you want that yoga picture
Yeah,
so bad.
extra
But,
motivation.
like, I love that, and actually, that's something that I talked with somebody this weekend, somebody mentioned to me, like, "Oh my god, like, you have so many pictures of when the boys were little," and I remember, like, people would kinda tease me about that, how I would always take pictures, and I'm so happy I did, like, because it took an like, it was really effortful to did
Oh,
what we
oh,
did,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, like,
Like
making sure that they both had, like, their mittens on and, like, were cozy and, like, we're not just, like, us climbing over the snow, it's, like, making sure they're yeah, it was a full-on adventure.
Aw, I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, so special, but we should go for more walks. I think that's one of my goals this winter is to go for
Yeah,
some walks.
totally, I'm in, I'm
Okay.
so in. We'll talk about, kinda walks and things. I know on the podcast, we talk about, like, tools for self-growth, and I don't know if you could share with us some of yours, like, your favorite ones that you do?
I think that some of my things for self-growth I do listen to a lot of podcasts. Um, and so sometimes it's about business or self-growth or health and those kind of things. So that's a tool that I have. And then even just like listening to myself and like being aware of my body and, if I've had too much caffeine or I've not been moving it enough. Those are some things. And I also love to um I don't really journal, but I love to, like, write things down, so maybe it is just, like, having a pen and paper. I feel like there's something even if I'm writing a grocery list, I find that is, like, really, kind of nourishing to me.
Yeah. I know. I write grocery lists, and I feel so grounded after that.
Yeah,
Feel
yeah.
so scattered when you go shopping?
So
And,
yeah.
do you have, like, rituals? And maybe we can talk more, like, do you have rituals, like, linking to nature maybe or just in general?
Um, I I don't know if I have too many rituals, but I do find that I need, and maybe this can combine with nature, is I do need like space and quiet, and I'm realizing that that is something that is very valuable to me, and I think that also means like being outside a certain amount, and having the space and quiet outside. So it's not necessarily like a specific ritual, but maybe more just like a need that I've realized I is really important to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, and things you do to ground yourself. I guess you've talked about that, but like, is there things you do to like kind of stay in your bodies, or like, are there things you do with nature, or
Um, I think it's like being outside, or like, yeah, those times, like even just like walking over to the other field, and if I'm feeling a little bit
yeah,
stressed, like going over there and just kind of like, I think just being outside, I think that is a really grounding tool. And I
yeah,
don't do any like specific like yoga breathing practices, but I do think that doing yoga over the years, it is that time like, okay, just like, can you be breathing deeper right now? Like, can you do that? Like
yeah,
just thinking about it. It's not like I have any specific um, series or practices or expertise in it, but it is just like checking in with that as well.
yeah. Unless you're forced to come on retreats with me, just kidding,
So brutal.
just kidding. 'Cause, I mean, you came to France with me too, and that was like the busiest retreat I had ever done, and
Yeah.
that was a learning experience for both of us too.
Yeah, that one was different in the way where mentally I definitely need that space to kind of mentally ground myself when I'm doing something different and new, and I hadn't prepared as mentally for that one, and there was a moment where it did feel a little bit overwhelming, and I was like, "Sarah, you're not on fire, you can do this," and I had to have, like, a little chat with myself to be like, "You're totally capable of, like, coordinating these things and doing these things," and then it's like, "Yeah, you got this," and so that, it was different that way, but it was really special and amazing in other ways too. Like, they've all been like really awesome retreats and different experiences. And through that, I've learned that I do enjoy that. I enjoy like making sure like all those like details are sorted out and like helping you so you don't have to think about people's transportation so you can like teach yoga. I think that's been really awesome.
Oh, and you're so good at it. No, but, and that was a learning curve for me too, like, to really realize, like, your contract, you're supporting them in a different way that I'm supporting them. It's just, like, different. They're both sacred things we're doing. They're just different contract in a way, and
Yeah.
that it was okay for me to, like, kinda let you do that, and, like, you're good at these things, and I'm good at the art like, the other things, um, like, now I can't even think of going, do a retreat without having you there. What would I do?
Perfect.
And I needed to talk it out too, because like, I get just it's so easy to get in your head and be like, "Eh, was I okay?" And this and that, and to have a more, like, objective view, and I think, like, before I go through, like, my other questions, like, something in our relationship that's been, we've really been able to be honest with each other, like, if I show you something and you're like, "You've never told me that sucks," but you've used other words to, you know? But, like, I love that, like, I think we all need somebody that's, like, you know, tells tells you things for what they are, and, like, or just, like, even, like, lets you talk it out so that you figure it out for yourself, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. So you can, yeah, it's nice to have that sounding board to just get it. Sometimes we have like so many things in our head. I think that just being able to talk it out just gets it out so you can hear yourself and then you can kind of move on from it. So
Yeah, and yeah, I just love you keep me grounded, and I keep you buying clothes.
right. It's balance.
Balance through it all. Okay, well, I just have, like, a few quick questions, to kinda end, with, but, do you have a favorite mantra?
Ease, release, relief. Sorry, guys, that's a joke. Um, I mean, that is a must.
That's an inside joke too. Oh my god, it's a good one.
Sorry, everyone. Uh,
For real, Fisher. For real.
oh goodness, for real. I do like to say like to remind myself to be here now. That's a good one. And you have another one that you would do in your yoga classes. I realize I don't know the words, but I would kind of hum it. But it's something to the fact of like you have everything you need. Can you remind me of that one?
It doesn't come to me now, but it's like I know which one. It's like I have everything I need.
Yeah, that one. So I find that like I hum it when I need that reminder, but I don't realize I don't actually say the
Yeah,
words.
it's by the beautiful chorus. I don't know why it's not coming up to me right now. I'm everything I need.
I am everything I need.
Good. Okay. There's supposed to be rapid fire questions. Like, look at us. We're like, let me pull up the document. We're like, okay. This one is like, I love this question for you because like we're both obsessed with flowers. And do you have one? Do you have one favorite one?
It's super hard because I do love them and I've grown them and I've made bouquets with them, but the flower that is maybe a little bit more special are lilacs, and it's more that for it's a symbol of my mother to me, so they always have just like a little extra space in my heart.
Mm, and you lost your mother so young, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, so it's
Mm,
nice to like have that little like visual whenever I see them.
mm,
It's just nice. And like you have sunflowers for Tommy, and I
mm.
love that. I love flowers as like symbols for people in our lives.
I know, me too. I love connecting with flowers, and I hope we like evolving down the road. I want to do more things with flowers, like as you know, as you know, like they have such power, and like
Mm.
they're just not
Or
exploited as much as they should. For me.
yeah, and also they're really like I won't go too much in this, but like really amazing for the whole ecosystem. So I've been dreaming about the farm for next year, and I've been dreaming about like how to get more flowers around for the beneficial bugs, like the bees and the butterflies. And I definitely have a dream for like sunflowers on the hill that like face the road. So we'll see if that actually happens. But like they are just like really important just for our whole like all of like the ecosystem.
Yeah, oh my god, if you have sunflowers, oh my god, can't wait! Can't wait! I love that you're already like placing your visions for next year and everything. That's great.
Yeah.
Exciting. Okay, how about a favorite book that you've read about nature?
I was thinking about this in terms of like nature and relationships because I read a lot of farming books and that can feel a little dry. But you gave me a book for my birthday a few years ago called Women Who Dig, and I thought that was a really like beautiful symbol. Even just like it goes through to these different countries and talk about these women's stories, and like often they're like working together and like really harsh environments, but it's like or situations. So it's a really beautiful book written by a Canadian woman, I believe, who yeah, it's like the symbol of farming and community and women working together.
See, I know you. I knew you would like that book. Well, I love that you said that because we'll make sure to put in the in our my little show notes thing so we can promote it because I think it's like women who dig farming, feminism, and what something else.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're good. Yeah.
Amazing. And what about a favorite podcast?
This is super hard because I think we both consume a lot of podcasts.
We
So
do.
it's hard because like I listen again to like farming podcasts and like that is, can be kind of not always like interesting listening to for people that aren't farmers.
Mhm.
Um but I was again thinking about in the terms of relationships, and I love I feel like I've told this many times to you. I love the podcast That's So Retrograde. And
Oh,
and they talk about health and wellness, but I also love that they're like two best friends, and it's fun to hear just their dynamic of how they work together and really just like are there for each other, and their personalities are very different, but how they can like support each other or kind of just like steer each other in the ways that the conversations need to go. I love to think about that component as well.
Dude, we should do a podcast together. How about coffee or wine? I think I know that answer.
Oh, I love coffee the most.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
strong coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, the last questions are they're loaded questions, but just answer them however is best. Knowing what you know about the beauty of relationship, especially the one that we have with ourselves in nature, what do you wish people to know about the magic of working with your best friend?
I think it's really, wow, it's like, I mean, it's really fun to hear a person's ideas and their dreams and like help them make it possible. Like, I think there's something to that. And maybe that's what it feels like to be like in a rock and roll band or something.
Yeah,
And like,
I love that.
it's like this feeling of just like making these things happen. And it's like really, you're kind of like getting in there and working so hard to make these big ideas come to life. So it's really exciting that way. Like at the end of like launching a big project or releasing something, it's always different for us because the launch comes, but we've like done so much work and then it's there and it's like, oh, like maybe we need to celebrate this is like such a big deal. And but it's like it is really exciting to help make those things come to life.
Oh my god, I concur with that 100%, 100%. And the one of the last questions, what do you wish people to know about the magic of being in a relationship with nature?
um I think it's really nourishing. I don't know how to articulate it, like why it's nourishing, but I
Mhm.
think it is really calming. It is really nourishing, and it's really accessible. And I think I love that this is a symbol that we are all connected. Like when you think about like tree roots or mycelium, like we are all connected. We need each other, and I think that is a valuable thing to be reminded of when like things can feel so crazy and disconnected these days. That like those symbols and maybe even the reality of it are really important to have in mind.
I love that, and I will keep that in mind, like, seeing, like, our little Estelle Thompson art and yoga team as a rock and roll band. I love it the most. Sorry, not sorry, but I'm Mick Jagger.
Not surprised.
But I love that, like, like, it's like, I don't mind being in front of the camera, you, like, really love being behind the camera, like, all these things, like, they're really
Yeah,
opposite, and actually, like, Jessie, our friend Jessie, who came to the last Costa Rica retreat to photograph the retreat, I love how she was like, "How are you guys friends?" Like, you guys are, like, really different.
yeah. I loved hearing someone else say that.
I know, and, like, I just love she's like, cause I guess she just supposed that, like, we were the same or, like, 2 peas in a pod, and, like, we're really not in a way, but I think ultimately, like, we do have the same values of, like, beauty and art and connection and, like, you know,
Yeah,
I think the values are there, but, like, we're, like, our own person and personality, and, like, that makes
yeah.
the friendship even more colorful, you know?
It's so true.
And it's funny
Yes.
because like, I feel like, I'm way more like your husband and, like, you're way more like my husband.
It's true.
That should be interesting when we go for vacation in Mexico this February.
It's true. We'll have to
You
like
hang out with you, but we were like, so, like, how's it gonna feel to go on an actual vacation where we don't need to, like, work? Like, maybe we won't be able to, I don't know.
know what will happen.
Ah, we'll try. It'll be
I
hard, but we'll try.
Yeah, I think we'll make it. You
Yeah.
can just buy me snacks once in a while.
What?
You can just buy me snacks once in a
Yeah.
while.
Food always works. That's right. That's right.
Right.
I just want to say just how grateful I am for you, just for everything, and just for coming on the show. And I know like it was really vulnerable for you to do so. So it's like a really big deal that you're here and like you're showing up, and I know you're just doing this because like you're doing it for me. So thank you. And before we like completely go off there, where can we find Sarah Fisher and how can we support you?
Oh, well, thanks for having me. Thanks for encouraging me to do things that I get a little like nervous and sweaty and have to like really, mentally prepare for. But
Hashtag you're welcome.
um, but you can follow our farm, Offbeat Farm, on Instagram and Facebook. I don't post every day, but once in a while you'll see little snippets. I don't follow my own advice, but it's there, and you can support. I would encourage everyone to go to the farmers market, and if you're not coming to see us, to support other farmers and people that are working really hard to grow your food, and 'cause it's really an important thing in our world too, that you have people growing really nourishing food to feed you and your family. So I say go support your farmers markets.
Yeah. Thanks, Fisher.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye, bitch.
Bye, Mitch.